Hey guys, in the last video we have worked on the app UI functionality. So as you can see that on the home page we are showing some images, and user, when you click on any image, it will open that show wallpaper screen, and user can like the image and user can download the image. And apart from that, when the downloaded, we can also share the image as well on all the platforms like WhatsApp or whatever platform you want to share. Okay, apart from that, user can click on go back. We have already designed a new category screen where user can see the wallpaper from the different categories. Okay, and again we have a search functionality also implemented, like search functionality UI and the favorite screen UI. Okay, now so in the last video we have completed this app UI functionality. In this video, what we are going to do, basically we are going to do the backend setup. So first of all, there's all the tasks for the backend which we are going to do in this video. So first, what we are going to do, that we are going to Express server, and after that we will do some this all this stuff. Before that, I also let you know guys that for the database we are going to use MongoDB database, because it's a full stack project. That's why I'm teaching you guys. Okay, I'm telling you that we are using MongoDB. And in the last of this we were going to deploy the server on the render. Okay, so we will see that how to deploy our project as well. So first of all, we have to do the backend setup. For the backend setup, what we have to do, we have to create a directory. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm inside my folder directory. I'm going to create one folder for the backend. So I'm gonna create one folder. I'm going to name as a called server wall hub. Okay, and after that I'm going to open this directory in my VS Code. So let me open that on VS Code. After that, to create Express server, we have to create one JavaScript file. So I'm gonna name it called index.js. Okay, and before that, creating any index.js file, we have to initialize this project as well. To initialize or create a backend project, we have to write npm init -y. Let me zoom it this code. So now you can see that I've written npm init -y, and I have to hit enter. So once I hit enter, so it's created one package.json file, as you can see that. Okay, now after that, what we have to do, so we are in the index.js. To create a JSON, to create a node server, we are going to use Express package. So we have to use Express package. So let's install the Express package as well. So I'm gonna write npm I express. Okay, so it will install a package file. So as you can see that inside the dependency we have, not inside the package.json, we have a dependency section. Here we have installed the Express library. Okay, and you can see also that we have installed the node modules, like all the code of Express will go inside the node modules. Okay, now after that, we have to add a one file that is called gitignore. Okay, so what is gonna gitignore file do? Gitignore, as the name suggests, gitignore. So basically what is gonna do, it will ignore the files that will not push on the GitHub. So as you can see that we have a node modules file, and whenever we push the code on GitHub, we should never push our code, we should never push our node modules on the GitHub. Okay, now after that, let's create a Express server quickly. So first, what we have to do, we have to create one file called index.js after the initializing the project with npm init -y, and we make sure to install npm I express. After that, we have to write const express is equal to require express. Okay, now once you require the express, after that you have to write const app is equal to express, like this. Okay, now to start a server, what we have to write app dot listen. Okay, and the first parameter is called, we have to define a port. So I'm gonna write one port right now here. So const port is equal to I'm gonna name as of 3030. Okay, it could be like any UI, like you can make it's like 8080, whatever port you want to give, you can give, but that should be like in a range of 4 digits. It should not be more than 4. Okay, after that, it should app.listen, the first parameter take the port number, and the second parameter take the callback function. So we have to write a callback function as well. So I'm gonna write the callback function called console.log server is server is running, or server is started. Okay, now after that, to run this file, what we have to do, we have to write node index.js. So if I write node.index.js, so as you can see that in the console, if I make it bigger, so as you can see that on the console we are getting servers is started. Okay, now let's suppose if I do some changes here, instead started, okay, but it doesn't reflect the changes here, right? So to reflect that changes, like in the runtime, or in the runtime, we have to show this changes on the development. Okay, to basically whatever we do the changes on the code, we should able to see that changes as well. For that, we have to use another package that is called nodemon. So we have to install a nodemon. So basically what is gonna do, it will reflect the changes, or it will restart the server whenever we do some changes in the local machine. So let's install the package. To install that package in a dev dependency mode, we have to write npm i minus capital D and the package name. So I'm gonna write like this, npm i minus d nodemon. Okay, now if you see the package.json, so inside the dev dependency we have one package that is called nodemon. Okay, now how to run this our code with the nodemon? To run this project with nodemon, what I'm gonna write, I'm gonna create one command, dev command, which is gonna do like this, nodemon index. Okay, now if I start my server, so I'm gonna clear the terminal by typing the cls, and I'm going to run a command called npm run dev. Okay, so it will start the server with the nodemon. As you can see that this will hit this command nodemon index, and it is started the server. So as you can see that here server is started, or server is started. Okay, if I do something here, changes here, so it will restart the node server, and that's the use of nodemon, and we should use nodemon. Now if I do something else the place of 2, so you can see that it started server and reflect the changes. Perfect. Now after that, if you see our this notion, so we have done the project setup. Okay, and let me do one more thing for you guys to see the changes on the UI. So I'm gonna create one one API endpoint, app.get/. Okay, and if someone hits if someone opens on this port, like const, if someone opened the 8084, so they will see this response. So I'm gonna have a request, and we are getting the response. So whenever user do any request, so we will get the request, like whatever the request has done, and we have to do, give some response. So I'm gonna response some response.send, and I'm gonna write welcome to the node, welcome to the node server, node express server. Okay, now if I open on my browser localhost 8080, so what we gonna see that welcome to the node express server, and now you can see that it started. We are able to build a API like this. Okay, before that there is one more thing which we have to do some setup. So as I can see that we have done the project setup, and we have created one express server. To create express server, first what we had done npm init -y. After that we had installed the package called express. After that we created one file called index.js, and in this file we had initialized we had imported the express. After that we had created the app, and we have created a one welcome route, app.get/. As you can see that our server is running here. Okay, and we had created app.listen, and we are having a servers is started, and we have defined a port as well. Okay, now after that we had installed another package called nodemon that will help us in a dev dependency. Whenever we do some changes, it will restart the server. Okay, now after that we have set up Node as well. Now after that, we have, for the database we are going to use MongoDB, so we have to generate a MongoDB URI on MongoDB. Okay, to generate the MongoDB URI, basically for the database we are using MongoDB URI, so we have to generate a MongoDB URI. So for that, we have to search MongoDB Atlas. Okay, MongoDB Atlas. Okay, just click on that. After that, you have to open this site, MongoDB Atlas. Okay, as you can see, the mongodbatlas.com/atlas. You have to open that direct site and click on sign in or sign up. So if you have not, if you are trying first time, so you have to do sign up. But I've already account, so I'm gonna do sign up right now with the Google. So let's click on Google. So it will gonna took some time, and after that, you can see this is the directory. This is how you can see on the MongoDB. So I think you guys don't see any project, so you guys don't see any project. So for that, you have to click on new project. Okay, after that, you have to define a project name. So let me again show you guys. So on the top, you can see that your name. Okay, inside this project section, if you are sign up for the first time, you will not see any project here. So first of all, you have to click on new project. Okay, and you have to define the project name. So I'm gonna name as a wall vibes, as our app name is wall vibes. And you can have some tags which is not use case for me, so I'm gonna click on next after the defining the project name. Okay, and we can have some add onboard some another user as well. So I don't need any other user for now. Okay, so I'm gonna create a project. Okay, so it will create a project. So let's wait for some seconds. Now after that, once it's created one project, we have to create on deployment. Okay, for that, you can see that we are having some different kind of database. So I'm gonna use this free database that is storage of 512 MB and the RAM is shared. Okay, and I'm gonna use this by default. I'm gonna choose that and click on create deployment. Okay, so it will create a one database for, and after that we have to define a username. So I'm going to define username will be Alishan Coder, and the password is going to be Alishan password. And after that, you have to just copy this and create a database user. So what we are not doing that, we are not creating a user, and that's why we are not able to get that user. And here you can see that you can connect your database with a different ways. Like you can connect with MongoDB with your Compass. So MongoDB's Compass is like graphical user interface. Like this is a MongoDB Compass, so you can just download this Compass as you want that for your machine. Okay, and you can just copy the download URL. Okay, and after that you have to just copy this endpoint. Okay, and once what you have to do, you have to open your MongoDB Compass once you install that. Okay, and you have to just paste this that here, and you have to define the password. So my password is called Alishan password. Okay, and click on connect. So it will connect your database. Okay, and now after that, once you create your database, you have to go inside this sections, network access, and you have to make your database is open. So you have to click on edit. Okay, and you have to make it open. So how you can make it open, you have to just type 0, not like that, you have to make it 0.0, 0.0.0.0 and 0. Okay, and you have to click on confirm. So what is gonna do, basically, if you make it IP address 0000, so it will be able to access from the anywhere location or any server. Okay, so that's why I make it open. Okay, now after that, here what you have to supposed to do, you have to create one file called .env, and we're gonna name the MongoDB URI. Okay, you have to paste that URI which you have copied. We had created this MongoDB URI, okay, and I've defined this all the things like MongoDB name and this, and I'm gonna define name is called wall vibes at the last of URL. Okay, Now after that, what we are supposed to do basically, to read the file from the env, we have to install another package that is called .env. So I'm gonna install a package called .env. Okay, and after that, let me again start my server by typing npm run dev. Okay, and after that, let's suppose how we can read a file. So I'm gonna add a one more thing that is called port. Okay, and the port is gonna be 8080 for now. Okay, and instead of reading the file like this, first of all we have to require .env, require .env.config, like this. After that, what we supposed to do, we can read the file from the env by typing process.env and the file name. So I'm gonna reading the port. Okay, and if I console the port, so what we are getting the port, so we are getting the port right now. So this is how we read the file, we read the key value from the .env. So why we using .env file? So we use .env to store all the credential here. Okay, now what we had done right now, we had created a database URI. Okay, and we had set up the .env, and we have to also set up the course. We will see the set up the course later. And after that, we have to connect our MongoDB database. To connect the MongoDB database, now to connect with the our database with Node server, we have to install one package called Mongoose. So let's install the Mongoose package. So first of all, I have to install one package called npm I Mongoose. So about this package, you can more read about this package. So you have to just do npm I Mongoose. So if you just do that, so as you can see that what you can read about the Mongoose, what is Mongoose. So if it show you that Mongoose is a MongoDB object modeling tool designed to work in an asynchronous environment. Okay, so it's help us to get the data, like it's help us to do the data modeling, and we use Mongoose to perform some query with MongoDB. Okay, and you can read more about this, how to use it, like how to connect MongoDB. So as you can see that to connect MongoDB connection, there's one example. Like first of all, we have to import the Mongoose, and after that you have to use the MongoDB.connect method. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, basically I'm gonna create one folder that is as a name is config, and inside this I'm gonna name as another folder called db.js. Okay, and first of all I'm gonna import the Mongoose. Const Mongoose is equal to require Mongoose. Okay, and after that I'm gonna read the Mongo URI, and using the process.env let me copy this name, so MongoDB URI. Okay, so we will read our MongoDB URI. And why we are putting the MongoDB URI in the .env? Because MongoDB URI is a sacred thing, and that's supposed to store this secret in this .env file. Okay, now after that I'm going to create one function called connect db. Okay, and it's gonna be like this, an arrow function, and I'm gonna make this async arrow function like this. Okay, and we're gonna have a one try catch block as well. So I'm gonna make one function called connect and await mongoose dot connect. Okay, and we have to pass the Mongo URI. So Mongo URI like this, and after that once it's connected, so I'm gonna console that database connected successful, database connected successfully. Okay, otherwise if something wrong happen, database error. Okay, so after that we have to also export this function. So we have to export this function, we have to write module.exports is equal to connect db like this. So let me explain that what is happening, guys. First I import the Mongoose. Before that I install the npm I Mongoose, like npm install mongoose. After that I created one folder called config. Inside that I created one file called db.js. Inside this I imported the mongoose, and after that I read the MongoDB URI from the env using this process.env method. After that I created one asynchronous arrow function where we are having where we are having const connect is equal to we are connecting the mongoose by passing the mongo URI. Okay, and after that we are exporting this function as well. Now let's go to the index.js. We have to import db. So first of all I'm gonna call db is equal to require and how we can require this. We have to write dot slash config slash db, or I'm gonna name this db name as a connect db. Okay, and after that I'm gonna call this function connect db, and let's see. And after that let's start our server as well, npm run dev, and let's see what we are getting any error. So as you can see that our server is started. Okay, and after that database connected successfully. Let me reload this as well by typing the rs, restart the server. So if I type just rs, it will start the server. Now you can see that the server is also started and database connected successfully. Okay, now after that we have, whenever we use Express server, we have to do some extra configuration, like we have to write app.use.express.json. so whenever we make a response to any Express or Node server, the request which we send from the browser, that in a string format, and we have to make sure to convert that into JSON format. So for that we have to use one thing that is called app.use express.json. okay, like this. So basically this is a middle, express.json is a middleware which converts that stringified data to the JSON format. Okay, now so what we had done till at, if I summarize it, we have set up the .env course. So let's implement the course, let's understand about the course. So we have to also install one package called course, and what is gonna help us do that, basically whenever we use we are talking with a different port. Let's suppose our front end is running on 3000 and our backend is running on a 4000. So we are talking with a different port, like and this browser doesn't allow to talk with a different port, and that's why we have to use a course package or course library. So first of all let's install this npm install course. Okay, after that once it get installed, so we have to use like this. So first of all we have to import this const course is equal to require course, like this. After that inside this we have to write app.use, and we have to pass this middleware as well. Okay, so it will, if you install the course, it will you will not get any course error on the backend side or on the front end side. Okay, now after that we have set up the .env course in the mongoose. We had connected MongoDB database. Now what we are going to do, that we are going to create the schema for category. Okay, so if we talk about the wallpaper app, we are going to have a two schema or two collection. The first collection is gonna be category schema, where we having some data for categories, and we gonna have a wallpaper data. Okay, so basically one wallpaper is connected to a category. So one category has been gonna be multiple wallpapers, and wallpaper is going to connect with the category. Okay, so let's create the schema for the category. To create the schema for category, what we have to do, I'm going to create one folder that is called model, and inside this I'm going to create one file called category.js. Inside this, first of all I have to import the mongoose. So I have to write const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. Okay, and after that I have to write another thing that is called category schema. Okay, and after that, to create any schema we have to write new mongoose dot schema. Okay, and the first parameter is gonna be tick, that we gonna have one object Here what we have to do, where we can write all the field which we gonna require. So our category gonna be, so if we talk about the category, in our category we gonna have a name and the image, like category name what is gonna be, and the category image. As you can see in our app, we are having a name and the image. Okay, so first of all I'm gonna type, the type is gonna be string, so the type is going to be string, so let's type the string. Okay, and after that it's gonna be required true, so required true. Okay, another field which we want, that is called image. Okay, so let's write image, and the type is gonna be again string. Again, we don't have to import it from the OS, so we're gonna have a type string. Okay, and we're gonna have required true. Okay, and after that what we have to do, we have to write const category is equal to mongoose dot model. Okay, and here we have to define the category, and we have to pass our schema as well. Okay, and after that I have to import this module dot exports is equal to category. Okay, so this is how we create any schema. So first of all, what we had done, we had created one folder that is called model. Inside that we are having a category.js. Okay, and after that we had import the const mongoose is equal to require mongoose, const category schema is equal to new mongoose.schema. Here we define all the fields. So currently we are having a name and the image for the category, so it's gonna be like what is the name of the category and what is the image of the image of the category. Okay, and after that what we are supposed to do, if we check it, so what we had done, so we had created the schema for category. Now after that we had to create the routes for category, routes and the controller. So basically we have to create a code that whenever we post a request, so it will create a category and delete request, all this stuff. So let's do that as well. So I'm going to create another folder that is called routes, and inside this I'm going to create another folder that is called category. Okay, and after that I'm going to create one file that is called routes.js. Okay, and another file that is going to be called index.js. So let's create that. So inside the route.js, what we are going to supposed to do, basically we are going to create a controller, like CRUD a controller basically. So we gonna create a code that will gonna create a category. We're gonna create again a code that is gonna get all the categories, and we're gonna have a delete controller as well. So let's see, first of all, so we're gonna do CRUD operation for the category. So first we are going to create category. So I'm going to create one function called const add category. Okay, and it's gonna be an async function. Here what we getting, where we get the request and the response. Okay, and after that we gonna have a one try and catch block. Okay, now after that what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the body. So I'm gonna write const data is equal to request dot body. Okay, and inside that we will get the data of category. So the first thing which I want, that is called name. So we get the name from the data.name, and we're gonna have another a field that is called image. So we want image, so we can read the image like this as well. So image is gonna be data.image. Okay, and after that to create to add a category in our database, so what we have to write, const await is equal to category. So we have to import the category schema from this model slash category. So as you can see that we are importing the category from here by using the mongoose.model category, and we are passing the category schema. So we are getting the category schema, and after that what we have to do, we have to write create method. So category dot create. Okay, and we have to pass our category data. Okay, so it will create a data, basically const new category, we can name is like that, or okay, so I'm gonna name that is called category data. Okay, and I'm gonna pass this category data, and I'm gonna name this called category. Okay, and after that, once the category is created, I'm gonna send this response dot send. Okay, and also that I'm gonna send the status as well, response dot status of 200. Okay, and we are sending one object by like this. The first thing is called category, is gonna be this category, and the second thing is called success as true. Okay, and if any error come up, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send this by like this, response dot status of 500. Okay, and gonna send one object, and inside this success gonna be false, and error gonna be error dot message. Okay, now to test, like this is how we create a controller. This is called add category code. So first of all, what we are doing here, we are reading the response from the body, like whatever the user is sending on the request. So we are reading that, we are getting the data.name and data.image. After that, we are calling a method called category.create. Here we are passing our object. Once that is done, we are sending a status of category, and the success is true, and after that success is false, and we are sending the error message. After that, we gonna have to export this as well. So module.exports is equal to and add category like this. Okay, now after that, we have to go inside the Next.js. Okay, and what we have to type, const express is equal to require express. Okay, and after that, we have to write const router is equal to express dot router like this. Okay, here what we can do, here we can write like router dot post, and whatever the path, I'm going to write the path is going to be slash, and we have to import this add category as well. Okay, so as you can see that I had imported the add category from the slash routes. Okay, and after that, we have to export this router as well. Okay, now we are exporting this router. So first of all, what I had done, inside the index.js file, I had required the express. After that, const router is equal to express.router. I imported the add category routes as well, or add category controller, and after that, we had created one path that is called router.post. We defined the path and we added the controller as well, and after that, we are having a module.exports is equal to router. Okay, now after that, we have to go to the index.js. Okay, and here what I'm gonna do, basically after the connect.db function, I'm gonna require the category routes. Okay, so we have to write like const category routes is equal to, we have to require that. So I'm going to require that by routes folder category. Okay, like this, and we have already index, so we don't have to again write index, or as you can write index as well, that's up to you. But if you don't write index, that also works for you. After that, we have to write app.use, and I'm gonna write slash categories. Okay, and we're gonna pass this category routes code. So basically, what is going to happen, if I explain you guys, so we had imported this category routes, and we have created one endpoint slash categories, and we are calling category routes. Now after that, if we have to test this endpoint, right? So how we can test this endpoint, or how we can test the API? To test the API, we are going to use Postman. So what is Postman? So Postman is an API tool which helps us to perform all the CRUD operation using Postman. So I'm gonna close all the tabs. So to download the Postman, it's a free tool for the API testing or API management. Just type Postman download. So if you see that Postman is an application that allows for testing the web APIs. So just click on Postman download. You have to click on download, so it will download that. After that, you have to just install that, and you will get some kind of this kind of UI. Now after that, you have to click on new, click on HTTP request, and we are going to test the post request. Okay, Now I'm going to write http and slash localhost colon, and what port we are running this app. We are running this. Okay, before that, if you see that our app is get crashed because mongoose is not defined, okay, on the category.js line. So let's go on the category.js. Now as you can see that I had done one typo. I'm written the monos, and that's why it's getting the error. So we have to copy this line, copy this word, and just replace this mongoose. Now if I see that our server is restarted successfully. Okay, let me close all the files, okay, and collapse that. Now after that, as you can see that we are having a local host, and we are running this running this on what port. So let me check that. We are running this on a 8080 port. So we have to write localhost http localhost slash 8080 slash, and on the index.js, if I check it out, so our port, our route is slash categories. So instead of having a slash categories, I'm gonna make it API slash categories. So we have to do like this, copy this API slash categories, and we have to write like this. Inside this body we have to pass the JSON format, okay, JSON format, and inside that we have to pass what we are passing. Basically we are passing two things. The first thing is called name, so let's pass the name. So the name is going to be I'm gonna name this called iPhone wallpapers, and we're gonna have a image as well. So I'm gonna have a one image, and okay, and it's gonna be a image URL. So image like this, we have to write the image URL. So you can just copy the image URL. So let me copy this image URL from the internet. So I'm gonna write iPhone wallpapers, okay, and just click on images, and I'm gonna use this image. I think this image looks pretty well. So we have to just click on copy image link, okay, and after that we have to just paste that image URL and just click on send request, and you can see that we are getting error successful, response.status is not a function. And yeah, so what the mistake is doing, I'm doing basically, so it's not a like response.status. Let me check that. So I just checked that, like I was doing one typo, like instead of having a I written the status something like that, so we have to write status, okay. So that was I was doing typo, and again let me make a one request, iPhone wallpapers. Now as you can see that we are getting a one object category, okay, and now our document is created. Now as you can also test this on the Postman on this MongoDB campus as well. So you have to just click on .env, copy this URL, okay, and this just paste on the MongoDB campus, click on connect, okay, and you have to open this wall vibes. As you can see that our database collection name is called wall vibes. So you have to click on categories, and now you can see that we are having two categories. The first category is called iPhone wallpapers, and the second is also iPhone wallpapers. So we had created this document 2 times, so we can get rid of the any document. So I'm just clicking on delete. Okay, now after that I'm gonna create another API that is called get all API, okay. So for that I'm gonna create another API called const get all categories. Async function is gonna be again async, and it's gonna be a request response, and we are having a try catch block. And after that I'm gonna call this const response is equal to await, and I'm gonna call this category dot find method. So basically what it's gonna do, it will find all the categories, and I'm gonna send this response dot status of 200, and here what I'm gonna send, that I'm gonna send the success as a true, okay, and the second parameter which I'm gonna pass, that is called category. So instead of having a response, I'm gonna make it called category, and we're gonna pass this category as well like this. And if we get any error, So I'm gonna send response dot status of 500, okay, and dot send, and inside this I'm gonna send one object called success as a false, okay, and error gonna be basically error dot message, okay. So this is how we created one API that's like, you know, controller that get all categories. So if I explain you what is happening, guys, so first we are writing const category is equal to await category dot find, it will find all the category. After that we are sending that all the categories data in this response, else we are sending the error like this, okay. Now after that we have to connect our, you know, endpoint as well. So we have to export this get all categories, okay, like this, and we have to go in index.js, we have to import get all categories, and after that we have to write like this, and instead of having a, we gonna have a get method which will get all the categories, okay. Now let's go on the postman, and I'm gonna have a another request, new HTTP request. I have to just copy this again, and we're gonna just copy this endpoint HTTP localhost 8080/API/categories. Just click on send, so you can see that we are getting all the categories. So if I add one more categories, let's suppose the category name is gonna be nature wallpapers, and if you click on send, so as you can see that it's created another category. And if I click on get all categories API, so you can see that we are getting all the categories as well. Now if you want to delete or update from the MongoDB, so before that you can see that currently we're seeing only one data. So for that you have to just type Ctrl+R to reload this data, or just you can click on this this icon. I think there will be some icon, okay, this is the icon which you have to click on this, so it will reload the data. After that, to edit any field or delete, you can also delete from the MongoDB compass as well, okay. So what we had done, we had created the add categories, we created the get all categories. You can have a one called delete category as well, okay. So let's add the delete categories as well. So how we can add it? So we're gonna have a method called delete, okay, and before that let's create a delete category routes as well. So I'm gonna create one routes called delete category, and it's gonna be again async arrow function. Here we get the request response. After that we're gonna have a try catch block like this, and after that, so whenever we are, you know, deleting a request, so we are sending that ID in a params, so we have to read the ID like this, okay. Now after that let's go to the request delete category. So we're gonna read the ID like this, const ID is equal to request.params.id, okay. And after that we gonna delete any request. So const category is equal to await category dot find by ID and delete. As you can see that we have method called find by ID and delete. Here what you have to do, here you have to just pass the ID, okay, and it will delete that your category. And I'm gonna send response dot status of 200, and I'm gonna make called success as a true, and the category we are passing the category as well. So if you just, you know, there's one more thing which I just let you know, guys. So if you are having a category and you're not having a one, if you're the key and the value name is same, so you don't have to again write the key and value, you can have just one key like this, okay. Now let's go to the catch block. So if we get any error, so I'm gonna send response dot status of 500, okay, and I'm gonna send some like this success as a false, okay, success is a false, and the message basically error gonna be error dot message like this, okay. Now after that, let me export this delete category. So we are exporting this delete category, and let's go to this index.js. We have to import this delete category, and inside the delete method we have to just add this delete category. Now to test it out in a Postman, what I'm gonna do, basically I'm gonna click on new HTTP, and instead of having get, we are gonna make it delete request. I'm gonna copy this data, okay, and we have to write like this, and again I'm gonna add a slash, and currently I'm going to delete this nature wallpapers. So just copy this ID and just paste that like this, and when we click on send, it will delete that data. Now if I reload this, you can see that the nature wallpaper is deleted, okay, and if I click on get, and if we make on get all request, now you can see that we are just getting the iPhone wallpapers. Okay, again let me try with that. So I'm gonna add one wallpaper that is called football wallpapers, okay, and I'm gonna add a click on send, so it will add one category called football wallpapers. Now let's see all the categories. So we are getting all the categories like iPhone wallpapers and football wallpapers. Now I want to delete this category called football wallpapers. So you have to just copy this ID underscore ID, just copy this ID. After that, go on the get request. After that, /API/categories, you have to just paste that ID, and after that you have to click on send. Now you can see that this is deleted as successful, and we are getting the name and the football. And if I again click on get all requests, now you can see that we are getting only the football, only the iPhone wallpapers. Okay, now this is how we do the get all the CRUD operation. So you can add one more, like update functionality as well, but this works. Even you can also edit and update and delete all the things from the MongoDB Atlas as well. So what we had done in this video, basically we had created the routes for category. Now after that, we are going to create the schema for wallpapers, and we're gonna add the CRUD and the filters functionality on this as well. So let's do that. Now to create a get all request for the wallpapers, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm going to inside the routes directory. Inside the routes we have a wallpaper directory. Here we have index.js. Currently we had just created the post request. Now we have to create another request, basically that is called get request, and whenever user get request, so it should return all the wallpapers, right? So first of all, that we have to create a controller that is called get all wallpapers. Okay, so here we're gonna add a logic. So I'm gonna create one function quickly, get all wallpapers. Okay, as we have already done, as we have already done in the for the category, like get all categories, the same way we are going to do for the wallpapers. So let's do that. So first I'm going to create one async function, and const get all wallpapers. Here we get the request and the response, and we're gonna have one arrow function, and inside that I'm going to add one try catch block. Okay, so let's add a try catch block right now. After that, once you add the try catch block, you get the error here. Okay, and after that, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna do const wallpapers is equal to await. Okay, and wallpaper I have already import the wallpaper. Okay, and wallpaper dot find request. Okay, and after that, once I make the find request, after that I'm gonna send this response dot status of 200. Okay, and I'm gonna send one object. Okay, inside that we're gonna have a success as a true. Okay, and we're gonna send the data as well, wallpapers. Okay, there's one more thing I just let you know, guys. Whenever we have a same key in the value, we don't have to rewrite again, so it will take the it also works usually what we do, we write like this. Again we have to write the wallpapers, right? But if the key and the value is same, so we can ignore the value. Okay, and it will work as well. Okay, and after that, if we get any error, so we will send that response.status of 500. Okay, and we will send one object. Inside this object the success will be false. Okay, and we're gonna send the error as error.message. Perfect. So let me summarize this what we are doing here. First, I created one controller that is called get all wallpapers. Inside that we are having async function. It's we have a request and response. After that we are finding all the wallpapers and we are sending a request response dot status of 200. Success is a true, and we are sending this data whatever we are getting. And if we get any error, so we are sending a status of 500 and sending the success is a false, and we are sending the error. Perfect. Now after that we have to export this as well. So I'm exporting it all wallpapers. After exporting that, we have to go the index.js of the wallpaper for directory. Here what I'm gonna do, basically I'm gonna add one more request that is called router.getRequest, and the path is almost gonna be slash. Okay, and we have to import that get all wallpapers controller. So I just import the get all wallpapers from the slash routes. Okay, now after that as you can see that we have we are exporting this router, and after that in the index.js we are importing this wallpaper routes. After that we are having app.use /api/wallpapers. So this is the our base endpoint. Okay, and whatever the and after that we are, whenever we hit this request like CRUD, so it will check that we have get method or all the method, and it will call that method as respective. Now what I'm gonna do, basically I'm gonna just copy this endpoint and I'm gonna open my Postman. Okay, and I'm gonna add another endpoint, another API request that is called get request, and I'm gonna call http://localhost, and our port is 8080 and /API/wallpapers. So now I'm gonna hit this and let's see what we are getting the response. So now you can see that on the response we are getting 2 wallpapers. Like currently we had added only 2 documents or only 2 wallpapers, that's why we are getting 2 wallpapers. As you can see, the man in the field and the nature image too. Now let me add one more field, one more wallpaper. So I'm gonna add one more wallpaper. So I'm gonna name is called iPhone wallpaper, something like that, or basically sky wallpaper, something like that. And I'm gonna send a request, so it create another wallpaper, right? And if we see in a get all request, you can see this is a get request. So currently we are having just 2 documents. Now if I again make a API call, so it will become 3 because we had just added 1 document. Now let's see how many document is coming. So I just click on send request. Now you can see that we are having a man in the field, a nature image, and the sky wallpaper. Awesome. Now after that what we are gonna do, basically I'm gonna add some more datas. So I'm gonna add some again and again some 5 datas quickly. So basically what I'm gonna do, basically I'm gonna add a pagination functionality. For that I'm going to add some lot of datas. So if I again make a API call and let's see how many datas we have. So currently I think we have like quite well datas, like I think almost more than 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 8 9 10 11, like more than 10 datas we have. So what I'm gonna do, basically, so we have to also learn that how we can add pagination. Okay, and some filter, like on the wallpaper on the app we have added some pagination. So basically what does happen, whenever we load the app first time, we are not going to bring all the wallpapers. First we bring the almost 10 or 20 datas, and after that once user scroll down, once that 10 image gets complete or 10 image has been seen by the user, we will make another API call and that will bring more data. Okay, so for that we have to implement the pagination, and let's see how we can implement the pagination. Okay, for the pagination what we have to do, we have to get the page from the front end. So I'm gonna assign a variable const page is equal to, and we're gonna get like that request inside the query we are sending the page. So request dot query dot page. Okay, so whatever the page is coming from the front end, we can read like this. So whenever we send a page from the front end, we send that page value in a query. So we are reading the page using the request.query.page if we don't have any value. Okay, so what we are telling that assign the page value as a 1. Okay, now whenever we read the data from the query, that is in a string format. Okay, so we have to convert this in a integer format. So for that to convert into integer, I'm going to use a inbuilt JavaScript method that is called parseInt. So if you hover this, so it will convert a string to an integer. Okay, so after that, once we get the page, so after that we have to do another thing, another variable we have to declare, that is called limit, const limit. So what items do you need at the first time? So I'm gonna add an item of 10 limits, like whenever I make API request, so it should add, like it should give only 10 datas. Okay, and there's one more thing which I have to add, like so basically before that, so whenever we we want only 10 datas, right? So we can add one property that is called limit. So if I add a limit of 10, just let me pass this value, add a limit of 10. So this is the value of limit. So we are like, what I done right now, I'm reading the query.page from the query, I'm reading the page value from the query, and I assign a limit. I created one variable for limit and assign a value as 10. Okay, I'm finding the data, I'm finding all the wallpapers, and after that I added one limit, so it should return only 10 datas, right? Now let's check on the postman. So if I check on that postman, so it will only return the almost 10 datas. If I make only 2, so it will only return 2 datas. So let me check that. So as you can see that the task of limit, that how many datas do you want? Okay, so I just want only 10 datas. Okay, now another thing is that, like let's suppose we are having on the page number 1. Okay, so we have to add the pagination logic, right? So for that we have to make another variable that is called const skip. Okay, and what it's gonna do, basically it will skip the skip the wallpapers or skip the document. So basically in the MongoDB, every object represent a document, so we call a document. Okay, so for the skip, what I'm gonna do, so whatever the page is that, and I'm gonna multiply with the limit. Okay, so this is the function which we have to write. Let me explain you that, guys, what is happening here. So what we are doing here for the skip, let's suppose we are on the page number 0 or page number 1. So what is gonna happen, 1 minus 1 will become 0, right? And 0 into 10 will become 0, right? So the skip item will be 0 initially if the page number 1. If it's on the page number 2, so what is gonna happen, it will skip let's suppose the page value is 2. Okay, so what is gonna happen is 2 minus 1 into 10, so the value will come 10. Okay, so it will skip the 10 items. Perfect. So in the same, like what is happening now, whenever we add a skip, so it will skip that document. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do right now here, before the limit method, I'm gonna add a skip method as well. So it will skip that document. So I'm gonna passing this skip value, that you have to skip 10 items or 20 items as we move further. Okay, so this is how we add pagination in the MongoDB or in the backend. So let me explain you guys what we are doing here. So first we initialize a variable that is called const page. We have declared another variable called limit. We are having a limit of 10, and another variable called skip. So how many items you want to skip in every page. So if you on the page number 1, so you don't want to limit a first 0 document, okay, or first 10 document. If you're on the second page, so you have to skip the 10 items because you have already seen that, or you have already seen that items. And if you are on the third page, so you have to skip the 20 items. Okay, and that's how it goes. Okay, now another thing which we have to do, that is called category filter. So if you see on the app, so we have added also functionality that if you click on some category, let's suppose I click on nature category, so it will bring the only nature categories wallpaper. So let's add a category filter as well. To add a category filter, so what we have to do, we have to first of all read the category, okay, inside the query. So what I'm gonna do right now here, I'm gonna read const category is equal to request dot query request dot query dot category. Okay, so on the from the front end we are going to get a category. Okay, so I will check that if there is a category filter is not, basically we are sending a category or not from the front end on the API. If I send the category, okay, so what I'm gonna do right now, so I'm going to create one variable called let query, and the query is gonna be an empty object. Okay, inside the query what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write query dot category is equal to category. Okay, so basically so I created one object and I check that do we have a category. Yes, if we have category, so I'm adding a one key category and the value which is coming from the front end side. Okay, now after that we inside the find query I have to just pass the query. So what is gonna happen, it will filter or it will only bring that document which match with this category. Okay, if there is no category, so it doesn't apply any filter. Okay, now after that what we are gonna do, there is one more functionality which we have, that is called search filter functionality in our app. Okay, so let's do that as well. So what we are gonna do, basically we're gonna read the search value. So I'm gonna check that. I'm going to create one variable called search value. Okay, and I'm gonna read like this: request dot query dot search value. Okay, so I will check that do we have a search value from the API. First of all, let's check that if search value is there. Okay, if search value is there, let's suppose I want to search by name or a man in the sky or whatever. Okay, so we have to also add that query, right? So for that what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna search on query. So inside the query object what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write query dot name. Basically I'm gonna search on the name field, right? So I'm just adding query dot name, and here we are going to do regex search. For the regex search what we have to do, we have to write dollar. First of all we have to write dollar regex. Okay, and after that we have to write new regex expression like this. Okay, and inside this what we are supposed to do, we have to pass a function. Okay, and the first parameter which takes that is called search value. Okay, like what value you want to search on this regex expression, and the second parameter which we have to pass, that is called what kind of flag you want to search. Okay, so let me type that. So I'm gonna type by the I, so it will search on the whole string, like if any character match with that name. Let's suppose I type A, and if in our name object in our name string we are having a keyword in a string, so it will return that all the document. Okay, makes sense? So this is we are doing regex search as well. So if I summarize this whole stuff quickly, so first of all we are added the pagination functionality. So pagination functionality help us to don't get all the data in once go. Whenever user scroll down or whenever user went to the next page, we will bring more data. Okay, so first we are reading the cons page, and we had added the pass in method to check that request by using the request.query.page. So basically whenever we use request.query.page, it's return a string, so we are converting into the number format. And after that, if we don't have any value, like we are not sending any page value from the front end, so we are defining a value as a 1. Okay, and after that we had defined a limit of 10. Okay, and after that we had created another variable called skip, and it will skip the item. Let's suppose if you are on one page, okay, so it will skip the only a 0 item, because 1 minus 1 becomes 0 and into 10 will become 0. If you are on the second page, so it will skip the first 10 items. If you are third page, so it will skip the 20 items, first 20 items. Okay, now after that we are again reading the category. Like if you send the category value from the front end, so what we are doing here, we are reading the category from the query. So I'm reading like const request.query.category. I check that if there is a category, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just adding inside the object a filter called query.category will be is equal to this category value. And same for the search value, we are reading the search value. If there is a search value, Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm adding one search filter on this name field. So I'm adding query.name will be, and I'm doing reject search. So basically I'm writing $regex colon new res expression, and inside the first parameter what value or what pattern you want to search. Okay, and the second parameter which I'm passing, that is called flag. So whatever I'm passing as I, so it will check on every character. Like let's suppose it will match, if any character match it will return that. Okay, and we are adding inside the query object. So inside the find object we are like it will do that all the search category, all the stuff if there is, and we are having .skip, so it will skip the some certain items as our logic, and we are only returning the 10 item as we have defined on the limit. If we get any error, so it will throw error. Okay, now let's see. So I'm gonna test it on the postman. So if I click on a wallpaper, so we are getting only 10 items right now. Okay, now another thing is that let's suppose I'm gonna pass another query that is called page. So let's add a page. So if I'm on the page number 2, let's see how many datas we are getting. So we are getting some good amount of datas. Okay, now let's suppose if I'm gonna on the page number 3, so how many datas we are going to get. So on the page number 3 we are getting like it's skip, like you have already seen all the documents, and on the page number 3 we don't have any another wallpapers. Okay, now let's suppose if I want to do any category filter, so we can do category filter as well. So we have to just write category, and we have to pass the category ID, right? So let me pass any category as well. So I'm gonna write make a API request to get all categories, and I'm gonna use this iPhone wallpapers category ID, and let me add this category ID as well here, and I'm gonna make a request. So as you can see that we don't have any wallpapers with associate with this category ID. Okay, so let's add one wallpaper with this category. Now we can see that. So I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna add one document that is called iPhone wallpapers. Okay, and I'm gonna make a send request. Okay, now as you can see that we had created one document or one wallpaper for iPhone wallpapers with iPhone category. Now I'm gonna make this again request. Now if I make request, so as you can see that category filter is also working perfectly. Okay, now I'm gonna remove this category filter. I'm gonna do a name filter, name filter. So if I just write iPhone, or if I just write a man, so let's see what we are getting. I make a send request. Now as you can see that we are getting this all the fields where we have a man. Okay, a man in this, a man in the field. Okay, now after that let's suppose if I type just iPhone, if iPhone, okay, and I make a request, send request, so we are not getting any data like relevant to that. So let me do again iPhone. Okay, I'm not passing the we are passing a search value filter, and I'm passing the name keyword. That's a blunder mistake, and that's why it's not working. Now I just type search value and make a send request. Now as you can see that it's returning only that data which is matching with the iPhone wallpapers. And if I write a man, and let's click on send, so now we don't have getting any data. Now let me again do like this, and if I so if I type a mean, and let's send, now we are getting this all the data which is matching with that. Okay, so this is we have created this API. So let's see on the postman like what we had done on the Notion. So we had created the schema for wallpaper, right? We had create the create wallpaper route as well. We had created the get all wallpaper route. We have also added the filter on the postman. We had also tested the postman. Okay, let me summarize all the API which we had done. The first API which we had created, that is called create category or post category. So this is the API where we can create another categories by adding the name and image. Okay, and after once we create that category, okay, so we can add, we can use this category ID to add new wallpapers. Okay, so here we can add once while adding the wallpapers we can pass the category as well, and we can add a category, we can add a new wallpapers. Okay, now we had created APIs to get all categories, and we had also created a get all wallpapers API, as well as with pagination, with category, and with search value filter as well. Okay, now the next thing which is gonna to happen is that is called deploy the server on render and create a repository on GitHub. Okay, create repository on GitHub, and we're gonna deploy the server on the render as well. So let's see how we can do that. Now, as we have created all the APIs like create category, get all categories, create wallpaper, and get all wallpapers. Now what we are going to do in this video, basically like we are going to push the code on the firstly we are going to create a repository, and after that we will push the code on GitHub, and after that we will deploy the server on the Vercel. Okay, so we will do that all this stuff. So before that I'm gonna add one thing, that on the gitignore, make sure you add node.modules file, and you have .gitignore file as well, and inside that you have added the node.modules and .env file as well. Okay, now in the package.json what you have to do, you have to add one command that is called start, and you have to write node and index right like this. Okay, and after that I think we are able to good to go to the push the code on GitHub. So first of all, let me open my GitHub. So you guys have to open your GitHub, and if you have not account on GitHub, so you can sign up and create a new account. So I'm gonna click on new repository. So let me click on new, and I'm gonna select the owner, and I'm gonna name this server wall wipes. Okay, and I'm gonna make it a private repository, and click on create repository to create a repository. After that you can see there are several commands, like the first command is called git init, then git add, then git commit, and git remote, and add origin. So let's perform all the command. So I'm gonna make it bigger. The first command which we have to run, that is called git initialize. So it will initialize a git in our project. After that we will write git add space dot and hit enter. So it will stage all the file changes. After that you have to commit to that all the stage changes. So I'm gonna name the commit will be project completed. Okay, and after that we have to go here, and you have to just copy this command, okay, and paste that command as well. Okay, and after that you have to write git push. Okay, once you write git push, you have to again copy this command, paste that command, and hit enter. So it will push the code on GitHub. Now if we check that the code, we will able to see that file. Perfect. So we had created one repository on GitHub. Okay, and now we have to deploy the server on Vercel. To deploy the server on Vercel, we have to do one more configuration. For that, what we have to do, we have to create one file that is called Vercel .json. Okay, and after that there is one file, let me show you guys. You have to just copy this file code, and you have to just paste that as well. So first of all, what we have to write, you have to create one object. Inside that you have to write version 2, and after that you have to write a builds key. Inside that you have to define a source directory. The source directory will be /index.js. use Vercel node. Okay, and the routes is like /, you have to just like this, and the destination will be /. Okay, and after that let's push the code as well. Git add, git commit -m created Vercel.json file, and after that you have to push this code as well. Okay, now the code is get pushed. Now if we reload this on our repository, we'll see that we had created one file that is called Vercel.json. Okay, so what we had done, we had created the repository on GitHub and pushed the code. Okay, now the next thing is that we have to deploy the server on Vercel. So first of all, let me open the vercel.com, and after that if you guys had not signed up with Vercel, so you can do sign up, and after that once you sign up or sign in on the Vercel, you will see something like this kind of interface. Okay, now after that you have to click on add new, click on add project. Once you click on add project, you will see all the projects. So our project name is like server wall vibes. Click on import. Okay, you have to do nothing changes here, just click on environment variables. You have to add over all the environment variables. So let's add all the environment variables. So let me copy the .env file and let me paste that. So we have added the port, we have added the MongoDB URI as well. Now after that, click on deploy. So once you click on deploy, it's gonna it took some time. Let's wait for some second and it will deploy our app. Now as you can see that our project is deployed. Now click on continue dashboard. Once you click on continue dashboard, you will see a one URL, domain server wall vibes /versal.app. You have to click on that and you can see that our server is running. And if I write here /API/ categories, so we will get the data as well. And if you write here wallpapers, so we will get all the data whatever we had added. So our we have seen how to deploy our server on the versal.js. In the next video, what we are going to do that we are going to create an admin panel setup, and after that we will integrate the APIs and you will guys able to create the wallpaper, create a wallpaper or create category from the admin dashboard. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video, and after that we will do the API integration on our app. And there's one more thing which I just want to know that guys, if you're facing any issue while doing all the tasks, you have to just scan this with your WhatsApp camera. Once you scan this, you will get into the WhatsApp group and you can let me know guys if you're facing any issue. Thank you, bye.